And to give us some perspective, Daniel Mallinson is joining us on this broadcast. He's the Associate Professor of Public Policy and Administration at Penn State, Harrisburg, and he's joining us live from none other than Pennsylvania. Professor, thank you so much for joining us here on this broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
Who better to ask but you? Tell us, how was the atmosphere in Pennsylvania last night, and how do you think the state is important in this year's election?
Sure. So the state's shaping up to be the most important swing state in this election. As you mentioned earlier, it has the most electoral votes of the 7 or so swing states that are up for grabs in this election. And it is very difficult for either candidate to win the White House this time around if they lose Pennsylvania. It's still possible for both candidates, but it requires them to really win across the board in the other states. So Pennsylvania is shaping up to be the state, and we are seeing that in the number of visits, in the $1 billion of campaign-related spending that has happened just in this single state, and in the constant mailers and ads that we're all seeing here.
Right. Professor, a report that we just brought to our viewers before we came to you suggests that the Joe Biden administration's Israel policy could cost Kamala Harris. But the question is, could it cost her the White House?
Yeah, it's a big question. So this has been brewing for quite some time, back during the primary when Biden was the uncontested candidate for the Democrats. There was a pretty large movement in several states to vote uncommitted as a protest specifically about the support for Israel. And now, of course, in the general election with Harris being the candidate, there are questions about where Arab American voters and other more progressive Democrats are going to go. If they'll stay home, if they will vote for a third-party candidate. We do have 2 third-party candidates on the ballot in Pennsylvania that could draw votes away from the 2 major party candidates.
Right.
So any of that can shape the election.
Absolutely, Professor. You're making a very important point. Thank you so much for joining us here on WION and getting us your insights. Good to speak to you.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.